All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom Tada Akim out there preaching his word in truth and sincerity. This is Brother Shamar coming back with another lesson. And in this lesson, I wanted to speak on what just happened the other day, recently out there in D.C., regarding that, the two National Guards that were shot by that Afghanistan dude. That's what they saying, as of now, because it just happened the other day. But they're, already deeming this as an act of terrorism. That's how it's being investigated. And, brothers have been speaking on this as far as saying that there is going to be a lot more false flags within Babylon as we getting closer to the end, for this devil to justify him making these, more moves, pretty much. All right. Because now they pretty much, since this situation happened, now they're saying, I'm going to go into the article as well and play some clips from it. But now they're saying that this happened during the Biden-Harris regime, and they let in a lot more other people from Afghanistan that they didn't vet, look into their background properly, and that pretty much it could be a lot more people like this person in America, is what they're basically saying. So what does that mean? That means that a lot more potential situations like this one happening in random areas in Babylon, basically. Now they trying to, paint a picture like they scrambling around. They gotta do deep searches into all these people they let in, checking their backgrounds, this and that. They deployed a lot more National Guard troops out there to DC after the situation as well. So it just shows you the times that we live in, man. Things are deadly serious, and prophecies are speaking. All right. And then let me get this preset real quick. But then you got all these dudes out here, not all these dudes, but certain dudes out here who worried about the heathen being saved. Meanwhile, you got stuff like this going on. Why isn't it's more important to speak about things relevant to salvation, man, versus trying to going into a topic where it's not even relevant or going to do anything to help us to receive salvation, man. Showing you, like everybody been saying, man, these dudes just, ultimately a demons first and foremost, and they sellouts, man. But this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. At least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's right, man. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, because there ain't no way in hell that this just a coincidence. The situation that's, this situation that happened, man. All right. Here it is. You got all this technology. The nigga be watching you 24/7. I can run a fucking, speeding through the city, run a red light or whatever. I'm gonna get a ticket sent directly to me in the mail without no cop pulling me over or nothing. But then you mean to tell me that you got people so-called sneaking into Babylon that you knew nothing about, supposedly, that's coming from Afghanistan, that you don't know nothing about their background, what they doing, how they moving, and then you got shit like this that happens. All right. This isn't a coincidence. This is all being done by design by the, the elites, because they're going to capitalize upon this situation to further justify more National Guard troops like they did send, as well as future random attacks happening. Because we've been saying this, brothers been saying this. All right, there's going to be a lot of false flags happening, and this is like the first of many that's going to be happening. So like I said, I want to, read some of this article and go into some of the clips too, and hit some precepts as well. But this is from Zero Hedge News. It says, Paddle says ex-CIA linked Afghan shooter now under terrorism investigation. FBI Director Kash Patel told reporters that the horrific National Guard shooting just down the street from the White House is being investigated as an act of terrorism. Patel said agents seized numerous electronic devices, including smartphones, iPads, and laptops, all of which are now being analyzed. When a reporter asked how the Afghan national was able to enter the country during the Biden Harris years, Patel replied, when prior when the prior administration made the decision to allow thousands of people in without doing a single background check or vetting, that's how you miss every single sign. It says the nation was horrified Wednesday afternoon just as millions were hitting the roads, crowding TSA lines at airports or grabbing last minute groceries at supermarkets or the local butcher shops for today's Thanksgiving feast. By news that an Afghan national opened fire on two West Virginia National Guard members, leaving both critically wounded just outside the White House complex. The suspected attacker, identified as Afghan national, whatever the hell his name is, right there, Ranullah Lakanwal, who entered the U.S. in 2021 under the Biden-Harris regime's Operation Allies Welcome, was also shot and taken into custody. And you can see, pictures and shit. And then there's the clip of, what Trump had to say about it.
Fellow Americans, earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, two members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us.
All right, but that's enough of that shit. But you get the point. All right. Like he was going into, they always, with the the politics and whatnot, the left blaming the right blaming the left. The last president, new president blaming the last president. But the main point being, what he said was that they let in basically hella people that they didn't do no vetting on, no background checks, and this is a threat to Babylon. This is the biggest threat to Babylon right now, hinting at more situations like this happening, basically, man. All right. And now, what sense does this make to happen? Like, here it is when you travel, for a so called American, right? If we traveling, they checking your ID, TSA, this and that, your information. If you want to go out the country, that's a whole nother, deeper scope of how they checking you and shit, right? To make sure checking who you are, your background, this and that. But then all these people was let in, you know, who they know nothing about supposedly, which doesn't make any sense. But this shows you that all this is being purposely done, and then it's going to be a lot more things getting ready to happen in the near in the near future, man. All right. Now this is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And that's pretty much what they're doing, man. All right. This whole situation that's going on, uh, you know, with the shooting that happened, it's not a coincidence. It isn't just a random act of violence, an act of terror. They letting this shit happen, man. You could easily not have all this going on if they really wanted that, but they want this. They want that order out of chaos. All right, the problem, reaction, solution. All right, and that's pretty much what you have going on. All right, with this whole situation, they allowed this whole shooting and whatnot to play out. All right, now what's their solution to it? Oh, no more. We're not letting any more people at all come in from over there. We're, as well as going back and checking every single person that was let in from that way, deploying more National Guards. All right. Hey, it's just showing you the way that this devil moves, man, and that more situations like this is getting ready to happen. All right, because our a certain part of this article is mentioning that not blatant, like not openly, but you can kind of catch the hint, so to speak. All right, I will say it right here. During the Biden regime, uh, their years among tens of millions of migrants who flooded into the country, roughly 90,000 Afghans were admitted through the administration's Open Allies Refuge and Operation Allies Welcome. Intelligence sources revealed to Fox News that Lake and Wall worked with the U.S. government entities in Afghanistan, including the CIA, as a member of a partner force in Kandahar. Yeah, recall that throughout the Biden-Harris regime years, the America First movement warned that many of the Afghans and other refugees brought into the country had not been adequately vetted and were allowed to enter without little to no screening. So all these people that they let in here now, they could literally, you letting your enemy in here, you know. Here it is, you got these people in out there in the Middle East chanting death to America and everything else, and you letting, according to them, 90,000 plus, people in here that want to destroy you, showing that they want this to happen, man. They want these false flag attacks to justify them locking shit down ultimately. All right, because that's what's going to only thing that's gonna happen, man. And I'm trying to look for the point in the article I want to get. Yeah, right here. It says shortly after the attack, Trump requested an additional 500 National Guard troops for the Washington, D.C. area. This made clear that the deployment was never just about clearing homeless encampments or deterring street crime. The fact that military forces are now being positioned on the ground points to a broader security threat, one that unfolded in full view for the nation yesterday. So this is showing you, like it says, man, when they was deploying the National Guards, they telling you one thing, but the whole time is for a whole nother purpose, man. All right. So these devils, they just they just lying, you know. So they telling you one thing, but it's really for another purpose, man. All right. That's why, like the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. All right. He told you to trust him when 2020 happened. When you know when the National Guard was initially being deployed, like I said right here in this little section, what did they tell you it was for? Oh, deterring street crime, uh, cleaning up the homelessness. But now it's for a whole different reason. Now it's for uh, potential terrorists that they let in to America, and they deployed them mainly in D.C. because the situation happened out there. But how many other people supposedly are here in America that can potentially do the same thing in a different state, right? Because that's a lot of people, if according to them, 90,000 or plus people being let in here that can be doing the same thing that this dude did. And what's the only way to try to stop that, so to speak, if it starts being more and more false flags happening in different states similar to this one? All right, he's just gonna get to a point where he just locked down the whole fucking state. We got another more National Guards over here, over there. We got to have checkpoints, this and that. Oh, it's for your safety. Well, like it goes into in First Thessalonians, man, the 5th chapter, when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come, man. And that's what these devils been doing the whole time, man. Making America great, America first. All right, we gonna clean up this place. We gonna stop the crime, blah blah blah. And then whenever shit happens, all they're gonna do is blame someone else. Like he said, oh, this is the Biden administration's fault. Well, you already knew, what they had done that was out of order. Wouldn't it have made sense for you to already be on top of it before something that like this even happened? Going back to the other point I was saying, showing you that they want these things to happen. They want it to be chaos in Babylon. They want confusion. They want uh, false flags attacks to go down, so that they're justified in taking more rights away from you people. Putting more hell on you people, because that's all that's going to happen ultimately. And this is Psalms 55:21. It says, the words in his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And this devil's making it seem like he cared. He's sitting here saying, oh, this is the biggest threat against America right now, this and that. Meanwhile, you got, World War III about to happen at any fucking moment. Israel bombing fucking, the Palestinians and shit still. All right, Russia still against America wanting to bomb this place to hell and back. But they portraying the image that this is the biggest concern as of right now, showing you that there's going to be a lot more false flags coming to Babylon, man. You might as well just read between the lines from everything that this devil pretty much was saying. He blaming the last regime, last president, for everything that's going on now. But this is the nigga that's in office now. What's his solution going to be? More more National Guards being deployed, and eventually more, uh, less rights for you people, basically. Hey, what happened during 9/11 when that happened? You lost more rights. The whole TSA shit started being all extra and everything. All right. What happened when 2020 happened? Same thing. You lost your rights. He told you what you couldn't do. All right. All because of for your safety in both situations. And now what you got going on with this current situation? He's saying that, he's deploying that for that purpose. He requested an additional 500 National Guard troops for Washington D.C. area, which is like I said, which made it clear that it was never just about clearing the homeless encampments or deterring street crime. All right, and they're being deployed, positioned on the ground for broader security threat for a broader security threat. And this situation happened in full view for everyone to see, man. All right. All to scare the people, man. So get ready for more hell, basically. That's pretty much the main point. You seeing what's taking place and whatnot. Ain't nothing else good is coming to America. It's gonna be a lot more false flags. Uh, everything else, along with everything else going on. You know. Well, matter of fact, let me grab this. Hold up. Yeah, this is second Ezra 16-17. It says, "Woe is me, woe is me, who who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come?" And that's right, man. All right. This is just the beginning of all these things taking place, man. All right, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. All right, famine and great death. The beginning of wars. You're seeing all these things play out right in front of you, man. All right. This is just the beginning of the things happening. It's going to get a lot worse. Like I said, here it is. He's worrying about attacks happening from within the country. Meanwhile, you also have to worry about people from outside your country because these other nations, they don't like America as well, man. All right. So it's all bad. It's nothing but, more hell, more sorrows, more death, famine. All these different things is at the doorstep, and you're seeing it play out and manifest right in front of you, man. In the peak of prophecy speaking. And like I said earlier, meanwhile you got dudes that want to worry about the heathen receiving salvation, man. You got more important shit to worry about, man. This devil is making moves. False flags is actually going down. But do you got these dudes? Do you hear these dudes speaking about any of that? No, of course not, because they sold the fuck out, man. And they're not true. They don't truly care about our people. You know, they're not truly about um, warning our people, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, man. Warning our people of the things getting ready to happen, currently going on, and telling them, man. You know, what's the spirit of Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy, man? We're supposed to be saying these things before they happen, telling our people what's getting ready to come. We supposed to be the watchmen of Israel. All right, we supposed to be warning our people, like, look, this devil is making moves. Prophecies is speaking. Now it's high time to wake out of sleep, man. Hey, things is happening, and it's going to only continue to escalate from this point moving forward, man. All right, which is why you need to be on your watch. All right, walking in a certain spirit, because the shit is shit is hitting the fan. All right, and it's only going to continue to escalate moving forward, man. Things aren't getting any better, or things are only going to get worse from this point on, man. And it's from all avenues being covered. You know, false flag attacks, famine, pestilence, all right, wars, civil unrest, Esau getting ready to come with that great wrath, and this devil's making moves. That's why you gotta be on your watch, man. And all this shit that these sellout dudes are talking about is ultimately just a distraction, because you sitting here worried about some fucking heathens being saved while this devil is making all type of moves behind the scenes, man. Prophecies is happening. All right. Hey, so with that, you know, I'm gonna wrap up and give all praises and glory again to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone. And Shalom to all Akim out there preaching his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.